Hello! At the time of writing this script, I just finished Volume 1 of Stranger Things Season 5 around 45 minutes ago, and I already can't wait for Christmas, so I immediately rewatched all of the trailers to find every scene that wasn't in Volume 1. After compiling all the clips I found, I got around 70 seconds of footage that will most likely be used in Volume 2 or even the finale, so I'm going to show that footage, then break down all the shots and attempt to place them in a timeline.
After what we've been through, this thing, it ties us together forever.
This isn't like one of your campaigns. You don't get to write the ending. Not this time.
He's planning to end our world.
We stay true to ourselves. Stay true to our... No matter the cost.
William, you are going to help me one last time.
Episode 5 is titled Shock Jock. I don't know about you, but when I hear shock, my mind immediately goes to electricity. In this particular shot, we can see electricity rippling across the Upside Down, and the source is Hawkins' lab. Utilizing this, we can infer that this scene will most likely happen this episode. Before their story in Volume 1 concludes, these are the clothes that Nancy, Jonathan, Steve, and Dustin were wearing. For convenience, I'm going to refer to this group as the Trackers. Anyway, we can see a plethora of outfit changes from 3 out of 4 of the Trackers. There is a petrifying lack of Steve in a lot of these shots, but I'm just going to ignore that and pray it's deceptive marketing. Either way, we know that all scenes where the Trackers are wearing the outfits from the end of Volume 1 must occur before all the other scenes where they are wearing different clothes. Currently on the screen should be every scene with the aforementioned outfits. I also decided to insert this scene of a distressed Joyce. We can see someone is lying down on the same couch she is sitting on, and if I had to guess, this is most likely Will, as it makes logical sense, plus the shoes match up. Similarly to 11 back in Season 1, he probably got drained after using his powers to such a great extent which caused him to faint. Volume 2 will pick up right after the cataclysm that erupted in the last 20 minutes of Episode 4. As Will lost consciousness, Mike and Joyce would have to carry him back to the Squawk where they'd meet up with Robin, Murray, and Lucas. After the Demogorgon succeeded in abducting the children, this will be a low point for everyone, but especially Joyce. Now that Will has unlocked his powers, she's going to view this as a negative, as now he's going to be vital in bringing Vecna to his demise. While most would view this as a positive, as there is one more person with superpowers, Joyce would view this as horrifying, as her son is now directly in peril. Aware that she won't be able to stop him from going to the Upside Down to face off against Vecna, she is racked with devastation and trepidation, leading to her just sitting there pondering and dreading what's going to happen next. I think that I can confidently place this at the start of the timeline, as it won't take too long for Will to wake up. For Henry, the first time he used his powers he was put into a coma, and for 11 it usually only takes an hour or 2 to recharge, but I don't think they'd put Will in a coma, so let's say it takes Will between 1 to 12 hours to wake up. That would automatically make it so it has to occur relatively early on. Now that we've got that out of the way, it's time to order all the scenes involving the Trackers. Taking place directly before or after the title card, I think we'll get this shot of all 4 of them gazing at Hawkins' lab. This is the only shot we see of all 4 members of this group in one shot. It seems like they're going to decide to split up into duos, with Jonathan and Nancy, then Steve and Dustin. Inside, Nancy and Jonathan encounter something they have to shoot. Considering their lack of fear, I doubt it's a monster, but I can't rule it out. Simultaneously, Dustin and Steve will reconcile. I highly doubt they'd keep the best duo in the show spiteful to each other, Plus, Dustin wouldn't hug Steve if he was still mad at him. Speaking of him hugging Steve, I believe he will do this because Steve finally got the truth out of him. When Dustin got beaten up by the bullies, he lied to his friends and told two contradicting versions of what happened. The reason this makes him sob is because he has to face the emotions and particularly the grief he's kept bottled up after Eddie's fatality. After Steve consoles him, their friendship is restored. While inside the lab, there'd be some massive lore drops and discoveries about the Upside Down. Seemingly, the entire reason they decided to traverse to Hawkins' lab was because Dustin believed it'd contain answers to crucial parts of the Upside Down. In this one episode alone, we could figure out new questions proposed in Season 5 like what is the wall, and also returning questions like why is the Upside Down stuck in time. Eventually, Nancy and Jonathan would reach the roof of the lab where both of those would witness firsthand as a massive rift rips open in the sky. I genuinely have no idea what it could be, so I'm not even going to try embarrass myself by guessing. It appears that Dustin and Steve must have figured something out about the flesh wall, and this could explain why there's a lack of Nancy and Jonathan in this shot. If I'm being honest, I'm not sure whether or not this is the floor outside of the church or outside of Hawkins' lab or somewhere unrelated, but I think it's the church, as although it's blurry, it seems to match up. If it is the church, the lack of Nancy and Jonathan implies that they've already been to Hawkins' lab, and the fact that they look perplexed implies that they're discovering something new about the wall that they didn't already know. Later in the trailer, we see this shot of the electric wave things hitting the wall, so maybe this colossal energy explosion thing was detonated by the trackers to demolish the wall. Maybe Steve and Dustin are waiting at the wall with Hopper while Callie, 11, Jonathan and Nancy are at Hawkins' lab to activate the shockwaves. Those at Hawkins' lab would have both the walkie-talkies that Nancy and Jonathan had at the Turnbow trap, so they're probably communicating the status of the wall after the explosion. Also, the speech Jonathan gives to Nancy might occur this episode, as all they need to do is lose their coats. For Nancy, her losing her coat may end up being permanent, but for Jonathan, he seems to retrieve or keep it. Due to the absence of the coats, this speech is most likely one of the last things in the episode. Unfortunately, there's a lack of Steve in every shot after this, but I feel like it makes more sense story and character-wise to kill off Jonathan. I think one of them is destined to die and the other one is destined to live because of the love triangle with Nancy, so I genuinely have no idea who has a higher chance of surviving. Assuming everything I said this episode is accurate, Steve's death would most likely be in episode 6 or 7 if he does die, and if he doesn't, Jonathan's death will then probably happen in episode 7 or the finale. Jonathan does persist in other shots unlike Steve, so he is secure for at least one more episode. Episode 6 is titled Escape from Camazotz. This implies that the majority of the episode will be about Max and Holly. Early on in the episode, it just makes sense that those stranded in the Upside Down and those in the right side up would reunite at the Squawk and Will would wake up. I'm not sure whether or not this is the hugging scene because Dustin is wearing the grass and Jonathan's coat is on, plus he's wearing sleeves, but Nancy's outfit seemingly hasn't altered. I don't think the war zone would be in range as the flesh wall is there, and even if it was obliterated by the electric stuff, I'm pretty sure that outside of Hawkins it's going to be the way that it was when Henry was first banished there, so the war zone wouldn't exist. That means that Dustin physically can't obtain the grass outfit he had in Season 4 if he was in the Upside Down, but if that was true, Jonathan and Nancy should have their weapons. Also, if Jonathan got a change of clothes, Nancy and Dustin should have too, because Dustin is still wearing his trench coat and the red Squawk t-shirt. He just has grass overlaying it, and Nancy hasn't changed at all. It's all just really confusing. My best guess is that Will is the one in the center of this hug, and he's just woken up from his slumber. They would have placed an extra coat on him to keep him warm while he was unconscious, so maybe everyone went to the war zone and then returned, and while everyone was in the process of getting changed, Will woke up. Dustin only put the grass on, whereas Jonathan changed his shirt, and Nancy didn't get a chance to put anything on. Hopefully, 11 and Will would now have the ability to spy on Vecna after he briefly entered the right side up, or if the wall did get demolished, she could find Holly's location. 11 would submerge herself in the bathtub and unveil Vecna or Holly or Derek's location. I don't know much else about what's going to happen in this episode, but this is most likely where Lucas is in the hospital and he has to rescue Max from the Demodogs. Since Vicky is there, Robin is most likely going to be in the hospital too. Most of the episode will involve everyone conjuring a plan while Max and Holly escape Camazotz and simultaneously learn more about Vecna. This episode can't be eventless for everyone at the Squawk, as that'd be 2 episodes in a row, so will Screaming Run might be here. Episode 7 is titled The Bridge. Genuinely no idea what that could even be implying, but it seems like all of the surviving trackers will be returning to the Upside Down, this time prepared with weapons. They'd have to fight their way past all of the military to reach the gate, and once they're in, they will enact whatever plan they cooked up. If they do have to tussle with the military to reach the gate, that would mean that the scenes on the tower in the Upside Down will take place after it. Episode 8 is titled The Right Side Up. As the finale to the show, this will most likely consist of the final brawl against Vecna. That means that both shots that I haven't placed yet could happen here. There are 2 shots I excluded, as I'm pretty sure that they were in Volume 1. I just included them in the intro to be completely sure. Apparently this episode is going to be over 2 hours long, so anything could happen here. That includes the shot of something tumbling from the sky in the Upside Down. I'm going to close out the video by showing the completed timeline, so thanks for watching, bye-bye.
This isn't like one of your campaigns.
He's planning to end our world.
After what we've been through, this thing, it ties us together forever.
Stay true to our.
This isn't like one of your campaigns. You don't get to write the ending. Not this time.
We stay true to ourselves.
William, you are going to help me one last time.
Hit the dick.
Yep. Let's just hope it's not too hard. If it is, I'll soften it.